Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to show you how to catch isopods for bioactive terrariums. So isopods are really cool for bioactive terrariums because they actually help to clean up the waste left behind by the animal or any other leftover food or anything in the habitat that you have, whatever animal is in there. Now they do need high humidity and they need places to hide because otherwise a lot of animals will eat them. But you can also get isopods very easily, so if you need to replace some isopods, so you can actually catch them in the wild, which we're going to show you today, or you can buy them online. You can actually get all kinds of cool morphs and different species of isopods. Like we actually have some creamsicle color isopods in some of the terrariums we have. So in isopods, you can collect them, like I said, in the wild, but they're going to be wild type gray isopods. So let's show you how to do it. So you always want to find like some leftover logs or leaf litter or things like this. Is a great spot to find all kinds of isopods and other insects and things. So you just kind of lift it up and you look around for isopods. I'm not seeing too many under here. You always have to have a jar ready. So let's see. Do you see any isopods, Em?
I don't. I see an earthworm.
Right there's one.
Oh, tiny one.
Yep. Oh, he's under the bark. Oh, looks like there's a few of them under the bark right here. So you just kind of put the jar underneath them and see they just fall right in usually. And now they don't bite or anything, so they're pretty easy to catch. Oops, I missed that one.
I've heard of people eating isopods. They taste like shrimp apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard of that. Come on, get in there.
I wouldn't recommend eating them, but
Okay, yeah.
just saying.
Okay, we've got 2 isopods under this log. Now you always want to make sure you put whatever you lifted up back and make sure that there's no like if you see some sort of snakes or some sort of salamanders or frogs or toads, you want to make sure that you don't put it back on top of them. So usually you would remove those animals, put whatever you lifted up, whatever log or rock you lifted up, back down, and you want to put that animal down next to it so that they can go back under on their own and they don't get squished. So here's 2 isopods. So that's what we're looking for right there. And again, so isopods, you can collect them from the wild. Like most invertebrates, you can actually collect in the wild because they have no legal protections. But I don't recommend collecting any sort of vertebrates from the wild or anything like that, because a lot of those do have legal collections or legal things that you have to worry about, as well as like bag limits and things for certain game fish and birds and all kinds of stuff like that. But insects and invertebrates, arthropods, or God, getting everything confused. Isopods are not an insect, but you can collect them from the wild, and usually, well, depending on where you are, but most of the time there's no legal protection for them.
They're land crustaceans.
Yes, they are.
Hi, y'all. Okay, I'm looking for isopods now. Maybe under this log. There is a lot of mud and dirt under this log. I don't see many isopods. Oh, I see a millipede right there. Oh wait, that might be an isopod. I think it is. Come on, into the jar. Oh, got one. It's kind of upside down. They're commonly called pill bugs too, some of them. The ones you see that roll up in a ball, roly-polies, are isopods too. Any more?
No, I don't. I see a
many
couple of spiders and things. Right there is a, I don't know where he went. There was a little spider right there.
Slug right there.
So that's another cool thing about lifting up logs and rocks. Oh, is that another isopod?
Did I get him?
I
I
can't
did.
tell.
See?
Ah, yep. Let's put them in the jar. But yes, so that's another cool thing about lifting all kinds of logs and rocks and things, is you could find really cool things living under here, like millipedes and isopods. Yep, a couple small millipedes down there. And you find slugs and snails and centipedes. So it's always a lot of fun lifting these things up. Oh, there's a couple of big ones.
Big one.
Yep, let's grab those before they get away.
Into the jar. Can you put millipedes in a bioactive terrarium?
I haven't heard much about putting millipedes in a bioactive terrarium, because millipedes will actually eat a lot of like the growing plants that you have in there. So you got to be careful with the millipedes.
There's some eggs right there too from something.
Yep, some sort of egg. So we'll have to make sure that we're extra careful when putting this log back down.
Well, this one's a cool log.
Yep.
Lots of diversity in this one.
Now let's flip it back so that we don't disturb too much whatever's under there. There's no way to do this without disturbing whatever's under there. So another way is you can kind of peel back some bark, see what you find. You usually find less isopods this way, but you can just find some cool things when doing this. Well, so I'm not really finding too much. So this is really dry. Usually you want to look for like moist soil and bark and things like that.
Over there might be good.
Yeah, let's check under that log.
You don't want to lift the big one.
Looks like there's a worm under there.
A couple worms.
Yeah.
Well, there's some very tiny isopods. I don't even know if I could get them. They're so tiny.
Yeah, you want to be careful you don't squish them.
Is that some sort of nematode?
Oh, yep, that looks like a nematode down there.
Oh, there's a couple nematodes.
Oh, yeah. So nematodes, most nematodes are harmless, and they're actually very good for the environment. You want to tell us a little bit more about nematodes?
Well, there's so many nematodes on Earth that I was told by a professor if you took away everything else on Earth, all the earth and dirt and everything, you could still see the outline of the Earth by nematodes. That's how many there are.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy there. I heard the same thing, so let's see, just check under the bark right here.
Oh yeah, that looks like good bark. There's a
Oh,
worm.
there's a worm.
There's a little tiny
Oh,
bug right there.
I spy a
Oh.
centipede. Well, he went up under there. I was going to show you guys the centipede, but you also got to be careful because they do bite. Oh, there's some more. Oh, is that a little teeny centipede? Yes, it is. That's a little baby centipede. So centipedes actually
Maybe
have.
that's what those are, not nematodes. Actually.
Maybe, yeah. We need our eyes checked. It's hard to tell.
They're so small.
Yeah.
I think they are baby centipedes. I've never seen them that small.
So when you find centipedes, you have to be careful because, like I said, they do bite, but they will only bite in defense. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it goes.
Cool.
So centipedes, when they bite, they actually, unlike things like spiders, who use fangs to inject the venom. So centipedes actually use modified legs to inject the venom, which are called toxicognaths. So they actually will grab a hold of their prey, stab that in, and use those modified legs to inject venom to subdue their prey. So let's put this log back and lift another log.
So centipedes are the ones that bite and millipedes are the friendly little curly ones.
Yes, and a great way to tell centipedes from millipedes. First of all, centipedes and millipedes, they do look very similar. A lot of people get them confused. Millipedes are usually herbivores, so like we mentioned earlier, they will eat your terrarium plants if you don't plan for that. Whereas centipedes are mostly carnivores, so they'll eat other insects and things, but you gotta be careful. You don't want those in your terrarium because they might bite whatever's in there. But anyways, back to telling them apart. So millipedes actually have two pairs of legs per segment. So they actually have 4 legs per segment. Whereas centipedes have only 1 pair of legs per segment. So they have only 2 legs per segment. So if you catch one and you're not sure what it is, just count how many legs per segment. That way you don't have to count all the legs, because that would be ridiculous. But that's a great way to tell them apart if you're not sure what you have caught. So let's lift this log and see what we got.
Wow, there's a lot of mud under this one. There's a worm right there.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Earthworm.
Oh, there's another little centipede.
Oh, there's some, oops. There's some isopods over there, I saw them.
Oh, yep, grab it.
Big one.
You have the jar?
Right over there.
All right, let's stick that one in the jar. So these are all the type of isopod that actually doesn't roll up. So there's a couple different species of isopod, and it's hard to tell them apart without having them side by side. It's hard to describe that. Here's a baby centipede. But, oh, here's another big isopod.
I'll grab him.
Yep, and again, they don't bite or anything, so it's perfectly okay to catch these guys. See, isopods on their own also make great pets if you wanted a pet isopod. And like I said, you can get them online in all different colors. They have creamsicle colored ones, they have spotted ones that look like little cows. They're actually called dairy cow isopods. There's Dalmatian ones.
There.
Where?
I think it went in the dirt. On the topic of pets, you can also keep giant millipedes as pets in a separate little terrarium.
Those are odd looking little critters. Actually don't think I've seen those before.
Oh, I don't know what they are.
Yeah, we'll have to look up what those are.
They're strange.
Yeah, that's so weird. I don't think I've ever seen those before. Yep, this guy right here. Oh, right there's a little springtail. So these are the other things that you hear me talk about when I'm talking about bioactive terrariums, is springtails. And they are great for cleaning up animal waste as well. Oh, there's all kinds of little isopods around here.
Tiny little ones.
Yep. They are either young juveniles of the same species we have, or they could be a different two different species of isopod. I'm not sure.
Oh, there's a big one.
Let's try this guy right there.
He's a nice big one.
Put him in the jar. So again, isopods make fantastic pets. And if you're keeping an isopod as a pet, they are great because you can actually keep them, like if you only have 1 or 2, in a jar about this size, and they can live perfectly fine. As long as you have a moist, not wet, but moist substrate in there, and you provide them with some dead leaves and things, which is called detritus, to eat. You could also feed them with like things like dog food and stuff. You just got to be really careful with mold. So let's see what else we got under here.
I think a lot of the stuff hit already. A couple worms
I think
still
so.
out.
See under this bark.
Can you put earthworms in bioactive terrariums?
You can, but you got to be careful with it because they would survive, but when they die, it really stinks. Like literally, it stinks.
Have you heard of compost bins where they put earthworms in them?
I have, yes. Now that is a great way to do compost. I would like to do a video on that.
You should.
And talk about that a little bit more, because I would actually like to do a little more research myself on that before I tell you guys about what to do for that.
I'm like asking you all these questions.
All right, you want to lift another log?
Sure. I don't know which one to lift.
Eeny, meeny, miny, log.
Alright. Should I lift a big one?
You can try to lift a big one.
This one or this one?
Whichever one you think you can lift.
Oh my god, I can.
Oh, she's strong.
Oh, we got a snail shell.
Oh, yep. So grab that snail shell. So we actually have some mole trails in there. They're either moles or voles or something. So that right.
Spider.
Oh, there's a big old
There's a
spider
couple
there, yeah.
spiders.
So, oh, here's another snail shell. So these snail shells are actually from an invasive species of snail called a grove snail. That actually, you could tell this one right here was a juvenile snail. You can tell if a snail was a juvenile or adult by right here where the opening is. If you feel right along here, there will be a little lip there if it was an adult grove snail. Like this one right here, you could tell was an adult because there's a little ridge right there. It looks like something may have eaten this one actually. So you see these snails all the time during the summer. They're very common in upstate New York. I'm not sure what their range distribution is, but in upstate New York, they're very common invasive species.
On the topic of non-native species, all these earthworms you see also aren't native, but they don't do much harm to the environment. They're just very common non-native species. There are invasive worms around here though, the jumping worms. You find them in mulch, and if you find them and grab them, they'll be jumping all around like swerving all around like snakes. It's crazy. So I don't really know how to get rid of them. There's not much options for them. I've heard of putting vinegar on the soil, but pretty much just be careful where you get your mulch.
And the worms that you buy for fishing and things, I've heard of people, before they knew these were a problem, they were actually selling them. And they were getting to new areas and invade new areas. So what those worms do is they actually will eat the detritus and things on top of the soil before it actually starts to break down into the soil for the other more beneficial worms. So they actually make very poor quality soil for a lot of growing plants and things, which makes it awful. And they steal a lot of native plant detritus that other animals would eat. So I think another name for those is, isn't it like Asian jumping worms or European jumping worms or something like that?
Something like that.
So we'll have to look that up, and we'll put that in the description. All right, now that we've had this up for so long, all the isopods are probably running and hiding.
We were talking.
We got distracted. So I'm not seeing any other isopods down here.
No, I'm not really seeing much.
No. All right, we can put this log back then. So over there's our beehives. We actually keep bees as well. We hopefully will do a video on those soon.
I don't keep them though because I'm wicked allergic.
Yeah, she's allergic. I think that's all we're gonna do for.
About sums it up.
Yep, that's all we're gonna do for today's video. I don't know if I'm in film or not.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Well, say goodbye.
See y'all.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hope to see you in the next video.